Guys, we are going to be looking at the famous YouTube channel His Story. It's blowing up on YouTube right now, and I wanted to check it out for you guys. Still be a Christian content creator, but not focus so much on it. Just for you guys to YouTube app right now. We're going to be searching up His Story. His Story is a blowing up YouTube channel, and we're going to be just watching some long form content. I would watch regular content, but I'm not going to be watching regular content. The reason why that is because I'm doing this with my phone, guys. I don't have a computer, so I'd have to screen record when I do this kind of stuff. That's why my picture's so small. So yeah, that's why my picture's so small, kind of stuff like this. We're just gonna watch some long form content. He has great long form content as well, so we're just gonna go ahead and watch some long form content. Okay, I'm subscribed to him already. Probably this is my second time trying to record this video. iPhone giveaway. Yeah, nobody cares about that. 1 million subs. That's not happening because there's 1 million people. Like, I'm gonna win it. No way, Jose, bro. I'm not even try that. I'm not even gonna press the short button because just the thumbnail that he uses is addictive. We're gonna press videos. His last one is I went to war with a cartel, and from the time of this video, that was an hour ago. So we're not gonna watch that one. All these are like 30 minutes. That's actually crazy. 18, 16. Blackout horror story. Let's go ahead and let's just press popular. What's the popular one? I took revenge on Chester. That's that crazy kid. I've watched them already, no well. Never trust your neighbors, 21. 2 hours, the ultimate history short animated stories. We could, but I think that's Chester. No. I was fortunate to play World's Deadliest Game. 19 minutes. You're a hitman and the target is your son. Mini movie. He does great movies, like no joke. 6 hours. That's actually crazy. Let's go ahead. I was hunted for rich man for entertainment. Let's watch that. Let's just go ahead and watch it. They'll probably be commercial.
Gas helps families on the go.
Kind of knew there would be.
10 cents per gallon on my way to soccer.
It was around sunset when I curled up on the sidewalk in as many blankets as I could find so I wouldn't freeze. Buffalo winters are rough. A few minutes later, a black Mercedes G-Wagon pulled up to the curb and a man in a cashmere coat rolled down the window and stared at me. "What unit did you serve in?" He could tell I served from my camo-style jacket. I was 2nd Unit Marine Battalion, served 11 years, and did 3 tours in Iraq. I run a small foundation that places vets into transitional housing. I have some guest cabins up north. I can offer you a bed for the night. Why don't you let me take you over there? My feet were starting to go numb, which meant frostbite wasn't too far off, so I got in the car.
Bro, we ain't even a minute into this thing. This is already so good looking. Like, we're not even a minute into this video here, which is 17 minutes. We're not even a minute in, and it's already starting to sound good. Like, that's actually crazy of how good. One, bro, let me go ahead and pause this.
Started driving. His G-Wagon kept climbing up the winding mountain road and finally pulled up to his cabin, which was more like a mansion. He led me in, and I glanced over at his hunting wall and saw several animal heads sticking out. I thought it was strange because he left a thick coat of blood around each of the animals' necks where their heads were severed instead of cleaning it. Charles cooked me a 14-ounce ribeye, poured me a glass of red wine, and sat across from me. We toasted, and I quickly finished off the meal and my wine. I was so blown away by this man's hospitality that I stood up and hugged him. After dinner, he showed me the guest bedroom. "I'll see you in the morning, soldier. Wait until you see what kind of surprise I have for you for breakfast." The sheets and pillows felt like white, fluffy clouds. I woke up at sunrise to the sound of my door opening, and I sprung up, excited. I thought he was about to bring me breakfast in bed. Then Charles and 3 men walked in, each one of them holding different weapons. In all, there were 3 hunting rifles and 1 compound bow. My first thought was, "Oh man, I hope they have a good rifle for me to join the hunt." Then I felt a shiver run down my spine when I saw Charles pointing his rifle right at my face. "Good morning, Jake. Are you ready to be hunted?" Yeah. Is this some kind of joke?" "Nope. Nothing funny about the type of sport we play." I stayed as still as possible, beyond horrified. In the Marines, we learned to cover our emotions, but I was dying inside. I really liked the guy, and that annoying, nagging voice telling me that this was too good to be true was right again. Behind Charles was a beanie-wearing guy that was built like a refrigerator with a compound bow over his shoulder, an older gray-haired man with a shotgun and tactical vest. I take it, you guys have done this before? They all shared a perverted giggle, and Charles got closer to me. "Only 26 times before you. You inquired about what was in my treasure chest? Trophies of the dead." He said it so proudly. "We try to get out at least once a month and place our bets. How much is in the pot?" 2 mil. Whoever takes you first, wins. We
We split it 4 ways if it takes more than one of us. I was morbidly curious. Do you mainly target homeless folks? Charles nodded. They're the easiest to lure in, and I think I'm about done with the questions. Here, he tossed me a pair of work boots, a wool jacket, and a cheap utility knife. You get the basics. We're not complete animals. How about a little breakfast before we start? How about a bullet pancake instead? Time's ticking, you loser bum. Go. Charles clicked his stopwatch. You get a 10-minute head start. I slipped on the boots, grabbed my jacket, and...
I'm sorry I haven't said nothing in the video this long, but this is just so enthusing. Like, bro, how in the world, how's this guy doing all this kind of? Like, you know how crazy this has got to be, this good of content and all? Like, I don't really get how he's able to do it. Pretty odd. You ever thought about that? How's he able to get that much good of content and that much, like, that is hours of editing? And he's probably not even the one doing it.
Sprinted out. Outside, I hit the tree line and noticed a maintenance shed about 40 yards behind Charles's cabin. I went around the cabin in a wide arc through the trees so they couldn't track my footsteps in the snow and came up on the shed from the back. I broke the lock with a fist-sized rock. Inside on a shelf, I found a roll of small paracord rope, a hatchet, a coil of 14-gauge electrical wire, binoculars, and a long-handled garden spade. I wrapped all of it in a tarp and slung the bundle over my shoulder. I had 8 minutes left before they started hunting, and I needed to get on higher ground to study them. They thought they were giving me a head start. They were giving me my workshop. I headed north and uphill, into terrain that I could read, and at the very top of the first ridge, I lay flat and watched the cabin through the binoculars. I watched the 4 of them gather their gear, split up, and start the hunt. Charles carried a bolt-action rifle with a scope, and he moved the way old hunters move, slow, patient, and reading the wind. I could tell that he moved in a relaxed, calm, calculated way, making him the most dangerous of the 4. The older guy with the shotgun moved through the trees like a man who'd spent every November of his adult life in snow country exactly like this. He was also very methodical because he knew he couldn't move like a youngster anymore and relied solely on his strategy. He'll also be a problem and won't act erratically. He was hyped up on energy drinks and coffee and was going to be the easiest simply based on how impulsive he was. The quiet beanie-wearing guy that carried the compound bow approached my position first. He thought that if he was very quiet, I wouldn't ever see him. Man, was he wrong. He closed the distance towards me the fastest, and that impressed me. He tracked my deliberate boot prints up a frozen creek bed about a quarter-mile north of the cabin. That was exactly where I'd wanted him to go. I was luring him into what we used to call the rabbit trap in my unit. I know it well because I got caught in this trap in basics during a training exercise. I saw him steadily approach my position. Then before he got too close, I rigged a shovel that was tied with a wire between 2 trees and propped the blade of the shovel pointing at chest height. I covered it with a few branches and leaves, then tied another wire across the trail in front of the shovel at ankle height, so if he stepped across the first wire, the shovel would propel itself into his chest. I made sure that my tracks that he was following led him directly into the booby trap. Then...
This is a simple kick-snare pattern, but if I add some hi-hats and an 808 bass,
I made sure that my tracks that he was following led him directly into the booby trap. Then, as a backup, just in case the trap failed, my backup was me and my hatchet. I climbed up the nearest tree that was about 5 feet away and waited for him. He worked his way up the snow-covered hill and was just about to take a step across the wire, but he stopped cold and saw it stretched below him. I was impressed. The guy had a smart hunter's awareness. I realized that I had to act fast, so I leapt down towards him with my hatchet raised high. He twisted towards me at the last split second and got one shot off with the bow at point-blank range. The tip of the arrow barely grazed me across the left side of my ribs. I slammed the hatchet down into the side of his neck. He dropped his bow, keeled over in the snow, and clutched onto his wound. He coughed and choked up blood that sprinkled the snow, took his last few breaths, and died staring directly at me in shock. I always liked it better when the enemy fired at me first, with the intentions of killing me. It made me feel a lot better when I took them out in retaliation. I still get haunted by the ones that hesitated and never fired at me. This first asshole was easy work. I checked to make sure the others weren't anywhere near, then grabbed a handful of snow and packed my wound. Snow is natural ice and perfect for this type of injury. I stuffed strips of my t-shirt into it and bound it with paracord. It was bleeding through my makeshift bandage wrap in less than 2 minutes. I took his compound bow, his arrows, his lighter, his hunting knife, his radio, and his jacket. I put it on over my own. The dead man's radio crackled in my ear, and Charles's voice came through. "Walcott, check in." "Walcott?" I chimed in. "Walcott's not here right now. Go ahead and leave a message and I'll be sure to give it to him." "Oh wait, he's a little busy right now. Down in hell getting rammed in the ass by Satan." The silence on the other end was thrilling for me. 1 down, 3 to go, shitheads. I hiked half a mile east. I got Walcott's body and dragged it about 60 yards uphill to a pine tree with a clear sight line down into a ravine. So much of this game is about planting questions in their heads. What's real? What's a distraction? Where is the attack coming from? Creating that unpredictability is what separates the pros from the amateurs. I propped his body up, sat him down against a tree, and arranged his arms to look like he was a man taking a break. I put his hat on his head and threaded a length of paracord through his sleeve and ran it 60 feet down the slope to where I was going to be, so I could twitch his arm from a distance and make a corpse look like a wounded man trying to raise his arm and signal for help. Then I clicked on Walcott's radio, and in my best older man voice, "It's Walcott. I need help. I'm injured." I doubted they would believe that transmission, but I wanted to give away my position, especially to Marsh. I had a hunch he would want to a hero, and I was giving him that opportunity. Then I hid in some thick bushes and waited. Like I thought, Victor Marsh approached me fast. He had used his scope to see Walcott's propped up body and wanted to be a hero, so he stormed in to save the day. "Way to go, Superman, you idiot." He stopped about 20 feet in front of Walcott and realized that he was dead and that this might be a trap. I aimed Walcott's compound bow and fired an arrow at his head. At the last split second, he turned to me and ducked. The arrow grazed the top of his head, taking off a chunk of his hair and the skin on the top of his scalp. He yelped out in agony and turned red with rage. I loaded up another arrow into the bow, looked up and saw that he was gone. A small trail of his blood led towards a cave. It was now time for me to become the hunter. I quietly made my way towards the entrance and saw the blood specks lead inside. Based on how impulsive I knew he'd be, I grabbed a rock and tossed it into the cave and heard him fire off 2 gunshots. Itchy trigger finger anyone. Then I thought, shit, that might alert the others, so I needed to be quick about this. His hollow voice came out from inside the tunnel cave. "I bet you think you're pretty slick, don't you? I did give you one hell of a blood-soaked mohawk. I missed my calling. I knew I should have been a barber. And you may want to consider going on America as top model with that look, pal. You're real funny." I was the class clown in high school. I knew his nerves would seriously be on edge now, so I found another rock, tossed it into the cave and rushed in on the opposite side and slid on my knees. That way, if he was looking at eye level, he would have to take the extra beat to look down, and by then, I would have gotten off my shot. When I entered, I saw him aiming his rifle across the way from me, but was surprised at how quick he was when he whipped his rifle to face me. At the exact same time, we both fired our weapons. His rifle caught me across the right side of my thigh, as my arrow stuck directly through his eye socket and out of the back of his head. He dropped to his knees, trembled, and died. I heard his radio go on with Charles checking in. "Marsh, you there? Come in. Marsh?" I grabbed the radio. "Hey there, this is Marsh's executioner. He's unavailable right now due to being overly anxious and just being an all-around Go ahead and leave a message and he'll never get back to you." Once again, the silence was wonderful.
His story's going
then
crazy
Charles
right
still
now.
had to ask, "Blanchard, you good?" "I don't care if he hears me." The gray-haired man, that must have been Blanchard, chimed in. "Yeah, radio silent. Repeat, radio silent." "Aw, come on guys, we were all having such a lovely conversation." Charles couldn't help himself. "I can't wait to see the look on that smug, arrogant face of yours when I blow your fucking brains out, you little piece of shit. What happened to caring about those that serve this country, you corrupt rich prick? I don't give a shit about any of you. That's the most honest thing you've said. Come and get me, guys. I'm waiting for you." I hung up and took off around a snowy bend. I realized that these last 2 men were clearly the ones.
The commercials!
I realized that these last 2 men were clearly the ones that built this twisted game and had successfully taken out many men
Alright
before
guys,
me.
there's gonna be a part 2 in this video. I'm not gonna make this video go any longer. This video is going on 10 minutes and there's still 7 minutes left. So guys, let's go ahead and clear out. Well, that was the end of this video. See you guys next time. Peace out. Well guys, I hope you liked that video. I know I did. I know I enjoyed that. And you know there's going to be a part 2 because I want to finish those 7 minutes with you guys. So, there'll be a part 2 on this video. On this video. And hope you guys enjoyed what we watched so far. And that was so good. Like, bro, what in the world was that? Look, every piece of the great. See you guys next time. Till then.